To Allah.
As a Muslim, we have a problem with some books. They got a lot of violence in the books. For example, Al-Bukhari. Al-Bukhari is the second book after, I'm not talking about the Quran.
Yes.
It's a perfect book. But Al-Bukhari is a lot in Al-Bukhari. My Muslim brother, they hate me for that, to say that. So many violence things there. Well, I will give you an example. There's a section there for slavery. They have 48 hadiths. They said black man allowed to be slave in Muslim house.
Yes.
So in this book, I'm sorry to say, it's in every single library in London, in America and Europe, in every bookshop, in every colleges and universities. What do you think about this kind of things they putting in our...
Again, the gentleman is pointing out that among some so-called Muslims, they have a book entitled or authored by Al-Bukhari, and in this book they try to justify the enslavement of black people. We're aware of this. The Jews do the same thing. The Jews are supposed to follow the Torah, the Old Testament, but they have a book which they wrote with their own hands called Talmud. And in Talmud, they are allowed in Talmud to enslave. They're allowed in Talmud to cheat other people who are non-Jews. They're allowed in Talmud to have sexual relations with little children. I mean, all manner of evil. The Holy Quran talks about it. Those who write a book with their own hands. And there are Muslims, so-called Muslims, who do the same thing. Unfortunately, sir, in Islam, like in all of the religions, none of them have escaped it. Remember, Shaitan will deceive the whole world. And even the religious people, in fact, mostly the religious people, Christians, Jews, Muslims, we harbor so much racism that we, from our lips, we'll pretend that everybody is equal and everybody is the same. But don't you dare bring home a black man to be your husband. Don't you dare. You would then see a different side to that Muslim woman or that Muslim father, be Arab or Pakistani. Makes no difference. Racism. We are happy to be in the mosque and to be with our countrymen, other Arabs or other Pakistanis or whatever. But if the black man comes in, and as long as he takes his place and he stays in the back, he's all right. But some of us have a problem if he becomes the imam. His skin is too black. So the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he warned the Islamic Ummah in that final speech. He says, if a man comes to you with his skin black like soot and hair like dried raisins, he's describing a black man. He says, if that man offers you truth or guidance, follow him. Because the Prophet had no racism within him.
What about the color? Are they allowed to be slaves as well?
No. Allah prevents slavery. Allah disagrees with slavery. And the Prophet Muhammad was a freer of slaves.
What you said about this hadith? Moses.
No. There are many hadith which are quoted. But many of them are lies. Many of them are made up to fit a narrative of racist. Many of the hadith are made up to fit a narrative of male domination, where women are not allowed in the mosque. Women are not allowed to read the Holy Quran. I mean, this is sick.
So you agree that
this is sickness.
Islam has been hijacked a long time?
Yeah, long time ago. This is why in Islam we believe in Al-Mahdi, because the Mahdi has to come to reform the whole of Islam. Because most Muslims on the planet today are in deviation from the Sirat al-Mustaqim. We are off the straight path. We are no longer following the Prophet. we think following the Prophet means to use a mishwak. We think following the Prophet means to wear jalabiyah. We think following the Prophet means to wear a kufi. This is not following the Prophet. This is not the Sunnah. Following the Prophet is much deeper. They think, oh, because we don't have a beard, oh, you're not real Muslims. Because we wear a suit, oh, it's like childishness. It's childishness. It's got nothing to do. And many of those Wahhabis in Saudi, they're drinking alcohol in the palace.
They're all in casinos.
They're drinking, yeah, we know. They spend so much of the people's money in the casinos on prostitutes, driving Lamborghinis and living the high life and buying champagne at £1,000 a bottle. Sick. Yet then they'll put on their robes and be holy. And then they'll chop off the hands of criminals and cut off the heads of people like they're holy.
They're killing children of Yemen.
I know, every day they're bombing the people in Yemen, supplied with the weapons from Britain.
By America.
Never forget that Britain and America are aiders and abettors of this evil. Never forget this, because many Muslims are so silly that you don't know where you live. You are living among Satan. This is the home of Satan. Understand me well. I don't play with this. I'm not mincing my words. Satan is real, and Satan is manipulating the entire planet. And many of those Muslims, you know the Mujahideen in Afghanistan, they were trained by the Americans to plant bombs to get rid of the Russians. You understand? So-called Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is a made-up thing. Al-Qaeda, it only means a list of names. Yes.
There are so many.
I'm coming to you, 1 second.
But those we're talking about extremism, Wahhabism, I would say they look like the majority of Muslims. They are everywhere in Europe. I think there was a plan for the last 25 years between America, England, Arabia, build mosques in a freedom country to
promote that.
those.
Absolutely. Let me take this question. Yes, sir. Thank you.
You mentioned the Mahdi, yeah, and that we all misguided and the Mahdi will come and that's why he needs to come. So in your opinion, who is he and when will he come?
We believe that the Mahdi, the question from the young man to my left, is that we mentioned the Mahdi. He's asking the question, who is he and when is he to come? We believe, as I read earlier on, let me read it again to you. This is the monumental book by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad entitled Message to the Black Man. And we have the Muslim program here, and it says what the Muslims want and what the Muslims believe. Point number 12 of what the Muslims believe says, we believe that Allah God appeared in the person of Master P.O.W.E.R Muhammad, July 1930, the long-awaited Messiah of the Christians and the Mahdi of the Muslims. We believe that this man, P.O.W.E.R Muhammad, who came to North America in 1930, is Mahdi. We believe that this is the man who will bring in the reform of Islam and will change all of the planet and sit all of the leaders and all of the tyrants down. This is the man who is the author of the Nation of Islam. That's who we believe this man to be. And, you know, we don't try to force other people to believe as we believe.
What are the signs of him being the Mahdi? How has he proven that he's the Mahdi and what has he done? I'm asking.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The signs that he is the Mahdi, first of all, is us. Where you see black people who were destroyed as a human reality. We lost our name, our language, our culture, our God. We were reduced to being beasts of the fields, burden bearers, building the Western Hemisphere for no pay for over 400 years. But when you see a Muhammad Ali, when you see a Malcolm X, when you see a Louis Farrakhan who could call for 1 million men and 2 million turn out in Washington, and the call at dawn is Allahu Akbar in Washington. When you see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan take on the most powerful nation on the earth, and through Clinton, Bush Senior, Bush Junior, who else? All these presidents, Nixon, Reagan, none of them can touch the minister. Through Carter, but the minister continues to teach. He's banned from this country. But just with a word, now let's talk about me for 1 second. I was so crazy, so misguided. I used to take cocaine. I used to drink the alcohol. I used to go to nightclubs with a sawn-off shotgun under my arm, strapped under my arm, under my coat. That's how I used to dance with girls. That's how crazy I was. My first 3 children, when they were born, I was incarcerated in the prison. I was not there, and I didn't care to be there for their birth. But the reality is this: having heard a word, the minister's banned, he just sends a word out on an audio tape. Just from a word on an audio tape, he reformed my entire life. Before I heard him, I was so ignorant, so foolish, so stupid. But today, as I said a minute ago, I've lectured in Eton. I've lectured in Cambridge. I'm all over this country, and people come out and listen to what I have to say based on the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm saying that this man, Elijah Muhammad, he has caused tremendous reform on our planet. Many of the black liberation movements that you see, if it wasn't for this man, none of those people would have been inspired to get up and do what they did.
You said that Mahdi came for the whole world. He's supposed to reform the whole world.
No. The way these things work is this. Even Jesus, when Jesus' ministry first began, Jesus told his followers, go not among the disbelievers or the heathens. Go not among those people. It was very confined initially.
But we're talking about...
Hold on. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught within the Arabian Peninsula. It was emissaries, it was the Moors and others after the Prophet who went out and spread Islam all over the globe. This began in a place in Detroit called Black Bottom, among poor, down and out people. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad himself was a man who was drunk, drinking alcohol. He said when he was found by the Mahdi, he was so buried in the mud of Western civilization that only his eyes could be seen. But when he departed in 1975, he left a nation owning over 80 million in assets, airplanes, factories, farmland, and all manner of infrastructure, schools for our people. So, I'm saying that the Nation of Islam is the manifestation of the reality of the Mahdi. We believe that this word is going to spread globally, and eventually you will see that, because God doesn't do magic. The Mahdi doesn't do magic. We as religious people believe in abracadabra. It doesn't work like that. Allah uses people. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, suffered tremendously, even though he was the messenger and the prophet of God. Jesus suffered tremendously, even though he was a prophet of God. All of the prophets had to go through hardship, and it took years for them to establish their community and for their teachings to go on a global scale. The same principle applies here. And so I would just say to you, be patient, and you will see the reform of the planet taking place. It's happening right now. When you see when you see the chaos taking place within the government with Brexit and they not wanting Brexit, but the people voting Brexit.
Is this reform only for black people?
No, no,
The
no.
whole world?
It's going to affect the whole world. But it begins with us. The most destroyed people, it starts with us. When you see a Donald Trump in the White House, you're looking at the end. When you see that type of madness and stupidity going on, you are seeing the crumbling, the falling away of white supremacy. Yes, sir.